Alpha King Rhaegar Flint chose Liora Marden's sister beneath wolf-bone lanterns, while the life Liora had given him still beat inside his chest. No one in Thornmoon Wedding Hall looked at Liora first. They looked at Celia Marden, radiant in a silver Luna veil, her hand resting on Rhaegar's arm as if she belonged there. They looked at Rhaegar, black-cloaked and beautiful, like kings who survived too much. They looked at the altar, the bloodless vow bowl, and the moonstone, where Luna's name would be sealed into pack law. Liora stood 3 steps behind her sister, holding Celia's veil. A sister's honor, the elders had called it. A softer word for watching the man she had saved bind himself to the woman whose name had been entered into the healing witness record before he woke. Her fingers trembled against the silk. Celia smiled without turning. Careful, Liora. You would not want the pack to think grief has made you clumsy. Liora steadied the veil. Grief did not make me clumsy. No, Celia whispered. Hope did. Liora looked past her sister to Rhaegar. He did not look back. A faint scar crossed his throat. The assassin's blade had opened him there 3 months ago, deep enough that even healers had stopped lying with their hands. He had been dying when Liora reached him. He had been cold when she pressed her wolf strength into the wound and felt something inside herself tear loose to keep him breathing. He had opened his eyes once, not enough to remember her, not enough to know what she had given. The Marr household had submitted Celia as the woman beside the fever bed, and the council had accepted it because alliance needed a prettier truth. The High Elder lifted the vow blade. Alpha King Rhaegar Flint, do you accept Celia Marden as Luna for the unity of Thornmoon, Black Ridge, and the Southern Pacts? For one heartbeat, Rhaegar's gaze shifted toward Liora. Something in his eyes changed. Then the council lord beside him murmured, The Southern Alliance waits, Majesty. Rhaegar looked back at Celia. I accept. The words moved through the hall like a door closing. He chose council ink over the pulse still beating under his scar. Truth had needed his wolf to drag it into the room. Liora did not break. She had learned that lesson early. Do not break where Celia can collect the pieces. Do not bleed where family can call it embarrassment. Do not ask for a place after someone has made your silence useful. Celia extended her hand to the vow bowl. With honor, I accept the crown's trust. Honor. Liora nearly laughed. Instead, she lowered her eyes to the white scars at her wrist, hidden beneath her sleeve. Not a servant, not a bride, not a healer, not a Luna candidate. Only the younger sister asked to stand close enough to bless the lie, but not close enough to speak. The High Elder turned to the carved black arch behind the altar. Let the royal wolf answer the Luna vow. Awe moved through the hall. The royal wolf was not merely Rhaegar's beast. It was the ancient soul of the Flint line, appearing only for coronations, war oaths, and Luna bonds. It did not choose Lunas, bless brides, punish sisters, or name the woman a king should love. It answered survival debt, borrowed wolf strength, and the living pulse inside an alpha that did not fully belong to him. Celia's fingers tightened around Rhaegar's arm. Only Liora saw. From the shadowed arch came a low growl. The torches bent blue. Rhaegar went still. The royal wolf emerged like winter-given teeth. Vast, pale-eyed silver along the spine, black paws soundless on moonstone. Celia stepped forward. I greet my king's wolf. The royal wolf did not come to her. Its gaze passed over the Luna veil, moon pearls, and vow bowl. Then it looked at Rhaegar's throat. The Alpha King's scar flashed silver. A murmur tore through the hall. Celia's smile froze. Old wound. Light. Wedding pressure can stir old wounds. Liora stepped back, and the veil slipped from her hands. Gasps moved like breaking glass. Celia turned sharply. Pick it up! Liora looked at the fallen veil. Then, at the royal wolf standing between her and the altar, "I cannot," she said. Celia's eyes flashed. "You forget your place." "No," Liora said softly. "I remember exactly where you put me." Rhaegar looked at her then, truly looked, at the wrist hidden beneath her sleeve, at the woman his wolf had crossed a wedding hall to measure against the scar in his throat. "Liora," he said. Her name in his mouth hurt more than his rejection. The royal wolf lifted its head. The sound that came from it was not a growl. It was a howl. Every candle went blue. Every wolf in Thornmoon Wedding Hall answered with a whine. The royal wolf lowered its head toward Rhaegar's scar. The pale wound at his throat split with silver light. Not blood. Borrowed strength. The howl did not crown the woman who had dropped the veil. It exposed the life debt beating inside the Alpha King. And in the vow bowl, beneath the unfinished Luna mark, one name rose in silver: Liora Marden. The vow bowl did not name a Luna. It named the wound witness whose borrowed strength was keeping the Alpha King alive. The royal wolf had not chosen Liora. It had only found the debt Rhaegar's chest had learned to hide. That did not make Thornmoon Wedding Hall kinder. It made it more dangerous. A bride could survive jealousy. A sister could survive humiliation. But a woman whose strength had entered an Alpha King's wound without a named witness could be turned into something uglier than rival. She could be called trespass. Celia understood that before the hall did. She stepped away from the vow bowl, face pale but voice steady. "Borrowed strength is not a Luna claim. It is proof my sister touched the Alpha King's wound without witness." A sharp murmur tore through the southern benches. Liora felt it move over her skin. Rhaegar did not look away from the silver name in the bowl. No one touches the vow bowl. Not apology. Not defense. An ardor. The High Elder bowed. "Majesty?" "Preserve it," Rhaegar said. "Seal the mark. Seal the hall. No vow proceeds until I know what my wolf has answered." Celia's fingers tightened around her veil. "Your wolf answered an old wound. Weddings stir blood. It did not accuse the healing record." Liora looked at her sister. "Then why are you afraid to open it?" Celia turned slowly. Her smile was almost tender. "Because you have always mistaken proximity for importance." The words landed cleanly. Rhaegar's jaw flexed. He did not speak for Liora. That restraint was not repair. It was only the first sign that he knew every word now had weight. The royal wolf stood beside the altar, massive and silent. Its pale eyes did not leave Rhaegar's throat. The scar there still glowed under the skin, silver threaded through old flesh. The High Elder lifted both hands. Celia's head snapped toward him. "Elder, this is a Luna ceremony." "It stopped being only a Luna ceremony," he said, when the Alpha's survival debt surfaced in the vow bowl. The Elder opened a narrow book, bound in moon-white hide. "Wolf. Strength given into an Alpha wound must be named before a Luna vow may seal. Borrowed strength cannot be transferred into a Luna claim unless the donor is named, witnessed, and released." The hall went still. Liora felt the old scar beneath her sleeve burn as if memory had teeth. Rhaegar looked at her wrist. Again, too late. Celia spoke before the silence could favor Liora. "Then name the law properly. It requires witness. If Liora claims she gave strength, she admits she entered the Alpha's body while he was helpless, without counsel witness, healer consent, or family standing." The accusation struck harder because it sounded like procedure. Liora lifted her chin. "Do not call me witness, while my scar is still being treated as trespass." Rhaegar's eyes came to hers. Something in him flinched. "Not enough. Liora Marden will stand as wound. Witness for the purpose of record review," he said. Celia exhaled sharply. "Temporary?" Rhaegar did not look at her. Until the record answers. He was still asking paper to do what his own chest had already done. Liora swallowed the bitterness before it could show. A temporary witness can still be blamed permanently. The sentence crossed the hall and found him. Rhaegar's face hardened, not against her, but against the wound in the words. "Open the healing witness record," he ordered. A healer from the side dais brought forward a black ledger with a silver clasp. The same ledger Liora had watched from a corridor while fever smoke curled under the recovery door, and Celia entered wearing clean sleeves. The healer opened the page. Assassination. Night recovery of Alpha King Rhaegar Flint. Bedside witness submitted by House Marden, Celia Marden. Celia lowered her eyes modestly. The picture was perfect. Too perfect. Rhaegar looked at the ledger, then at Celia. "You stood beside my fever bed." "I did what our house asked," Celia said. "I prayed. I signed. I kept scandal from touching your recovery." Liora almost laughed. Scandal. That was what they called a woman when her sacrifice had not been properly arranged. Rhaegar turned to her. "Were you there?" Liora held his gaze. "You were dying. That is not an answer." "No," she said. "It is the reason no one waited for permission." The royal wolf gave a low sound. Not words. Not judgment. Only pressure in the room. The healer's fingers moved down the page and stopped. Rhaegar noticed. "Read it." The healer hesitated. "Majesty, the donor line is damaged." Celia stepped forward. "Old blood records often smear during recovery rites. My name is already entered as bedside witness." "Read it," Rhaegar said. The healer swallowed. "Life strength donor, unnamed younger Marden daughter." The southern benches erupted. Celia's face did not change quickly enough. Only Liora saw the panic before her sister covered it. "Unnamed," Celia said. "Not Liora, not proof. My family submitted the lawful witness because the donor record was unclear." Liora looked at the ledger. "Unclear to whom?" Celia's eyes sharpened. "To those who follow law, instead of desperation." Rhaegar's voice lowered. "There is, guys. Scar record for strength transfer." The healer closed his eyes briefly. "Yes, Majesty. Bring it." Celia turned toward him. "You would inspect my sister's body in a wedding hall?" "No," Liora said. The word made every head turn. She pulled back her sleeve herself. The white scars on her wrist caught the blue candlelight. "I will not be exposed by your pity or protected by your delay," she said. "If the record wants my scar, let the record answer in front of the same room that watched you wear my silence." Rhaegar looked as if the sentence had entered under his ribs. The healer opened the scar registry. His voice broke on the final line. "Strength, transfer scar, left wrist, crescent split, inner vein burn, match confirmed." He looked from the page to Leora's bare wrist. "Liora Marden, not Celia Marden." The scar did not make Liora Luna. It made the healing record incomplete. The scar did not crown Liora. It accused the record that had buried her. Thornmoon Wedding Hall did not turn kind when the healer read her name. It turned watchful. A pack could admire sacrifice after it was safe, but while law still called the sacrifice unlawful, admiration became another trap. Celia stepped into that trap before anyone else could see it. "A scar proves contact," she said, her voice clear beneath the blue candles. "It does not prove lawful consent." The Southern Council murmured. Liora let the words pass over her bare wrist. The crescent split and inner vein burn looked white against her skin, older than the wedding and newer than the pain it had bought. Celia turned toward Rhaegar. "Life, strength, donor, and bedside witness are not the same title, Majesty. I was the witness the family submitted. If Liora gave strength without witness, Then my name kept scandal from your recovery. Rhaegar looked from Celia to Liora. For one breath, Liora saw the man beneath the crown, the man whose throat still carried her strength, the man whose wolf had crossed the hall to expose a debt he had not known how to hear. Then the Alpha King returned. Open the healing record custody, he said. Not apology, not trust, procedure. He was moving closer to truth by command, not yet by accountability. Liora lowered her sleeve slowly. Still asking paper to do what your own chest already did. The words hit him. His jaw tightened, but he did not deny them. The High Elder took the black healing ledger from the trembling healer. Custody strip attached to assassination. Night recovery record. Celia's smile softened. Good. Let the record show what the family lawfully provided. The elder read, Recovery chamber opened after second moonbell. Alpha King Rhaegar Flint unconscious. Fatal throat wound sealed by emergency life strength transfer. Bedside witness submitted by House Marden before the Alpha regained speech. Rhaegar's gaze sharpened. Before I woke? Yes, Majesty, the elder said. Celia folded her hands. The house did what duty required while you could not speak for yourself. Liora looked at her sister. Duty is a beautiful word when it is holding someone else's blood. Celia did not flinch. You were half feral with grief. Father believed naming you would ruin you. I allowed my name because someone had to stand between you and accusation. Protection that erases sacrifice is ownership with softer hands. A few women in the side benches lowered their eyes. They understood that kind of protection, the kind that kept a woman safe by keeping her silent. Rhaegar heard the shift. He looked at the healer. Who left the donor line unnamed? The healer swallowed. Not my hand, Majesty. Celia's head turned. Liora went still. The High Elder looked down at the custody strip. Donor line entered as younger Marden daughter, unnamed by family submission. Read that again, Rhaegar said. The elder obeyed. Unnamed by family submission. The words landed between the sisters like a blade. Neither could pretend belonged to the floor. Celia recovered quickly. A family may shield an unmarried daughter from intimate healing scandal. You know this, Majesty. A strength transfer into an alpha wound is not small. It would have made Liora a subject of rumor before she could defend herself. Liora laughed once, quietly. No humor. Before I could defend myself? You were using that excuse in the room where I am defending myself from the name you took. Celia's mouth tightened. I took nothing. I carried the title the family assigned. You carried the clean part, Liora said. I carried the wound. The royal wolf stood silent beside the altar. It did not howl again. It did not bare teeth. Its pale eyes remained on Rhaegar's scar, as if reminding the hall that debt was still there, even when language tried to step around it. The High Elder closed the ledger halfway. Life debt law is clear. A donor must be named before a Luna vow seals, because borrowed strength cannot pass into Luna protection through another witness. Celia lifted her chin. Then this becomes a family filing error, not fraud. The wedding may pause for correction, but it need not become a public trial of my sister's desperation. Desperation, Liora repeated. Celia's eyes flashed. What else do you call entering a dying king's wound without summons? I call it choosing his breath over my safety. Rhaegar flinched. Small. Visible. Not enough to cleanse anything. He faced the chamber. Liora Marden's wound. Witness standing extends to healing custody review. Temporary again, though he did not say the word. The room heard it anyway. Liora heard it most. You keep opening doors only wide enough for my evidence, she said. Not wide enough for me. Rhaegar looked at her then. and the pain in his eyes tried to become something personal. She would not allow it. Not yet. Celia stepped closer to the altar. Majesty, the healing custody review may proceed, but the Luna vow should not be poisoned by my sister's resentment. I stood where law required someone to stand. Liora turned toward her. You were named witness after the danger passed. I was unnamed, while it was killing him. The High Elder looked sharply at the healer. Is there a night report? The healer hesitated too long. Rhaegar's voice dropped. Bring it. The healer took a narrow roll from beneath the ledger clasp, sealed with fever room wax. His hand shook as he opened it. The hall had become so quiet that the tearing wax sounded like bone cracking. Rhaegar did not move. Celia did not breathe. Liora watched the healer's face change before the words came. Assassination. Night fever report, he read. First life strength pulse entered before third moon bell. Donor unidentified younger female. Celia Marden admitted to fever room after dawn for family witness signing. The blue candles guttered. Celia's veil trembled once. The healer looked up, pale as ash. Celia Marden was not present in the fever room until after dawn. The report did not yet prove whose hand had placed her in the witness line. It proved only that Celia's name had entered the record after Leora's strength had already entered the wound. The report did not name fraud. It named sequence. Liora bled first. Celia was written in after dawn. That sequence was enough to make Thornmoon Wedding Hall turn cold, but not enough to make Celia Marden fall. She stood beneath her silver Luna veil with her chin lifted, pale but composed, as if the record had only corrected a small courtesy. After dawn witness signing is still lawful, Celia said. Law does not always require blood on the sleeve. Liora looked at her sister's clean hands. No, it often prefers them. Celia turned toward Rhaegar. Your Majesty, I never claimed to be the wound donor. I was the family witness submitted to protect the recovery record while you were unconscious. The words were careful. Too careful. Rhaegar's scar still glowed faintly at his throat. The royal wolf remained silent beside the altar, refusing to make the next step for a room that had already been given enough truth to begin. Rhaegar looked at the healer's night report, then at the healing ledger, then at Liora. He was still standing inside procedure. Not accountability. Open House Marden's submission custody, he said. Celia's eyes narrowed. Majesty, family submissions contain private protections. Leora's laugh was soft and empty. Protection seems to become private only after it uses my body. Rhaegar did not look away from the record. Open it. The High Elder took another packet from the black ledger case, bearing the Marden family seal in blue wax. Before he could read, Liora stepped forward. Every guard shifted. Rhaegar lifted one hand to stop them, not because he had earned her trust, because stopping her now would have told the room exactly what his first mistake had been. Liora faced him. If this is my family submission, I will question it directly. Celia's mouth tightened. You are not a council examiner. No, Liora said. I am the woman your submission left unnamed. The hall held still. Rhaegar's voice came low. Liora Marden may question the House Marden submission directly. He had given her a voice against the record, not yet a place beyond it. Celia exhaled. Another exception. Liora looked at him. Not restoration. His jaw flexed. No, not yet. The honesty hurt more than a lie would have. Good. Let it hurt someone besides her. The High Elder opened the custody strip. Submission delivered by Marden, household steward under Lord Marden's family authority, received by council clerk before dawn seal, entered into healing witness record after dawn. Liora turned to the old steward beside her father's empty ceremonial chair. Who told you to leave the donor unnamed? The steward's throat moved. House instruction. Whose house instruction? He looked towards Celia. Only a glance. But the hall saw it. Celia spoke before the glance could become testimony. Our father governed the household. A steward's fear under pressure is not evidence. Liora did not follow the bait. Read the donor line. The High Elder read, Life Strength Donor, Younger Marden Daughter, Name withheld for family protection. For family protection, Celia said. There, our house protected you from scandal. You were unmarried. You had entered a dying alpha's wound. The pacts would have torn your reputation apart. Liora looked at the vow bowl, where her name still rested beneath the unfinished Luna mark. You protected my name by giving it away. Celia's face hardened. A family may choose which daughter represents it before council. That is not fraud. That is house law. House law cannot spend one daughter's life to purchase another daughter's crown. Rhaegar inhaled sharply. The council clerk who had received the submission stood near the altar, eyes fixed on the floor. Liora turned to him. When the packet reached you, was the donor line already unnamed? Yes, he whispered. Was Celia's name already entered as witness? Yes. Was my name anywhere in the packet? The clerk's lips parted, then closed. Rhaegar's voice cut through the pause. Answer. The clerk looked sick. There was an attached note. Celia's veil trembled once. Liora felt the old wound in her wrist pulse. Read it. Celia stepped forward. Private family note. It has no bearing on healing law. It decided whether healing law learned my name, Liora said. It has bearing. The High Elder looked to Rhaegar. Rhaegar did not hesitate. Read the note. The clerk unfolded a thin slip from inside the custody packet. His voice shook. Submit Celia Marden as bedside witness. Leave donor as unnamed younger daughter. Do not expose Liora Marden to fever room scandal. Celia's shoulders eased slightly. You see? Protection. Liora did not move. Finish it. The clerk's face drained of color. There is another line. The hall seemed to lean forward. He read it. Do not name the younger daughter. Alliance requires Celia. The words fell into the vow hall like a blade. Rhaegar went utterly still. Celia did not speak. For the first time all evening, silence did not protect her. Liora looked at the family seal, then at the sister wearing the Luna veil. The note did not yet prove Celia wrote it. It did not name the hand. It named the bargain. It proved something worse for the room. Liora had not been forgotten by accident. She had been weighed against an alliance and found inconvenient. The note did not name the hand. It named the bargain. Liora Marden had not been forgotten by accident. She had been weighed against an alliance and found inconvenient. That truth moved through Thornmoon Wedding Hall with more force than accusation. Accusation could be argued. Bargains had witnesses, beneficiaries, sealed rooms, council mouths that remembered only when forced. Celia recovered first. My father's house chose the alliance, she said. I did not write that note. Liora looked at her sister beneath the silver Luna veil. No one has said you wrote it. Celia's eyes narrowed. But you were ready to wear what it bought? A murmur spread across the packed benches. Celia turned to Rhaegar. A family may choose which daughter represents it before council. That is not fraud. That is house law. Rhaegar's throat scar pulsed once with dull silver. He did not touch it. Good. Let the wound remind him without becoming his excuse. Open handwriting and seal origin, he said. The council lord beside him stiffened. Majesty, House Marden notes involve alliance negotiation privilege. Rhaegar turned slowly. A note that buried a life-strength donor beneath my Luna vow is no longer private privilege. not apology, not tenderness, action under public pressure. Still not enough. The High Elder laid the note beside 3 samples: Lord Marden's hand, the Marden steward's hand, and the council negotiation script. Moon. Chalk dusted the strokes. The royal wolf stood silent near the altar, eyes lowered. It did not howl. It did not judge. It let human records answer. The elder studied the strokes. The main instruction is in Lord Marden's hand. Celia's shoulders lowered as if that saved her. Liora saw it. "So father sold my name," she said. Celia's voice softened into grief the way some women soften blades with silk. "He protected you. He knew the Pax would call your transfer improper. Protection without consent is theft. A daughter does not always understand what a house must survive. A daughter whose strength is keeping the Alpha King alive should have been asked before being erased." Rhaegar looked down at the note. His face did not soften. It darkened. "Who added the second line?" he asked. The elder shifted the page under blue flame. "Different pressure, council ink," written after the house instruction. The council lord went pale before he spoke. Rhaegar saw it. "Lord Carowyn." The Southern Council Lord bowed too quickly. "Majesty, alliance language is often clarified after family submission. Read the clarification." The elder's voice came hard. "Do not name the younger daughter. Alliance requires Celia." Celia lifted her chin. "That line speaks to political stability. Blackridge and the Southern Pax accepted me because I could stand as Luna without scandal." Liora turned toward the council lord. "Who benefited if I stayed unnamed?" The question made the room smaller. Lord Carowyn wet his lips. "The alliance required a bride whose position was uncontested. My position was uncontested because you removed the contest before I knew it existed." Celia stepped in. "You were never offered as Luna." "No," Liora said. "I was offered as silence." Rhaegar's gaze cut to her. For a moment, the air between them filled with everything he had not known and everything he should have questioned. Her pale wrist, the scar under his throat, the nights he had passed her in corridors while her strength held his pulse steady. He said nothing personal. That was wise. The High Elder closed the life debt book with both hands. The Luna vow cannot seal while the Alpha's survival debt remains unnamed and unreleased. Celia turned sharply. "Unreleased?" "Yes," the elder said. "Borrowed wolf. Strength remains bound to the donor until acknowledged, witnessed, and either returned by right or accepted as continuing debt." Leora's fingers went cold. Returned. She had not let herself think that word. Some part of her had been weaker since the night he survived. A little slower to shift, a little colder after moonrise. A little emptier when her wolf tried to answer. Rhaegar looked at her wrist, then at her face. "You have been carrying the cost." She did not let the line become comfort. "Do not discover my pain and call it intimacy." The word struck him silent. Celia seized the silence. "Majesty, if you suspend the vow, the Southern Alliance will take it as insult. Blackridge will call this a public rejection. The wedding hall will become a war hall before moonset." Lord Carowyn nodded, grateful for fear. The alliance was built around Celia's stability. Liora looked at him. "No, it was built around my disappearance." Rhaegar turned to the altar. The vow bowl still held her silver name beneath Celia's unfinished Luna mark. The moonstone waited for seal. The pack waited for command. The Southern Alliance waited to see whether an Alpha King would choose political ease over the truth beating in his own throat. Again, Rhaegar stepped toward the bowl. Celia reached for his arm. "Rhaegar!" He stopped before she touched him. "Not cruelly. Completely. The Luna vow is suspended," he said. The hall erupted. Southern lords rose. Thornmoon elders shouted. Celia went white beneath her veil. Rhaegar's voice cut through them all. No Luna vow will seal while my survival debt is unnamed, while the donor is unreleased, and while House Marden's submission remains under origin review. Celia stared at him as if he had struck the alliance in front of her. You would risk war for a woman who touched you without witness? He looked at Liora. Then back to the hall. I already risked peace by accepting witness without truth. Liora felt the sentence land, but she did not take it as repair. Not yet. The High Elder moved to cover the vow bowl. Before he could, Rhaegar's scar flared. Silver light split across the old wound at his throat. He staggered one step, not from pain alone, but from something inside him refusing the vow that still hovered unfinished in the air. The royal wolf lowered its head. Silent. The vow bowl trembled. Celia whispered, "What is happening?" The High Elder went still. His scar is rejecting the Luna vow, he said. Borrowed strength cannot remain hidden while the bond tries to seal over it. The wedding did not become war all at once. It became a room, watching its alpha king breathe around a wound the vow had tried to cover. Rhaegar's hand rose toward his throat, then stopped before touch became weakness before the pax. Silver light pulsed beneath the old scar. Not blood. Not healing. Borrowed strength pulling against a bond offered to the wrong woman. Celia stepped forward. Old wounds reject pressure during interrupted rites. The High Elder knows this. The High Elder did not answer quickly. Rhaegar's voice came rough but controlled. Open the wound, release law. Celia's face sharpened. Majesty, that law belongs to battlefield healings, not Luna ceremonies. The Luna ceremony tried to seal over battlefield healing, he said. Not apology. Not tenderness. A king forcing the record to face what his body could no longer hide. The elder opened the moon-white book. When wolf strength is given into an alpha wound, the donor remains bound until named before pack law. If a Luna vow seals while the donor is unnamed, the vow may draw through the borrowed strength as if the donor consented to transfer. The hall went silent. There it was. The cost she had not known how to name. Celia recovered first. May draw, not must. Possibility is not proof. No, Liora said, but it is explanation. Rhaegar turned to her. For what? She looked at his scar because his face was too dangerous. My wolf has not answered cleanly since that night, she said. At moonrise, she reaches and finds a door inside me already open. Rhaegar went still. Celia whispered, Convenient. Liora looked at her sister. No, convenient was your clean sleeve. The royal wolf remained silent, but every ordinary wolf in the chamber had gone tense. They could feel the wrongness now, not romance, not claim, but a debt stretched between bodies. Rhaegar faced the healer. Is there a donor condition report? The healer paled. It was not filed under donor record, Majesty. Where was it filed? House Marden, private care. Celia lifted her chin. Because Liora was under family protection. Because I was useful, damaged, and dangerous named, Liora said. The High Elder looked at Rhaegar. House private care can be opened only by crown order or donor demand. Rhaegar looked to Liora. For once, he did not command the record open over her. The silence asked what he did not. Open it, she said. I demand my own wound back. The healer brought a smaller packet sealed in blue wax. The elder read, Post, transfer condition of younger Marden daughter. Weakness after moonrise, partial wolf response delay. Left wrist scar concealed under elder leaf wrap during public recovery week. Rhaegar's eyes closed once. When they opened, the gold had gone colder. Who ordered the wrap? The elder read on. Requested by Celia Marden. Approved by House Marden's steward. Reason: prevent confusion regarding bedside witness. Celia had become very still. That is not concealment, she said. It is management. Liora was fevered. She would have been questioned cruelly. Leora's laugh was quiet enough to hurt. You hid the mark. That would have made the questions true. I kept you from being torn apart. You kept me from being believed. Rhaegar took one step toward Liora. She stepped back. The entire hall saw it. Good. Let them see that recognition did not restore trust. He stopped. Pain crossed his face, but he did not ask her to comfort it. What did the transfer take from you? He asked. The question moved through her like cold water. Not because he asked, because no one had. 1/3 of my wolf strength, Liora said. Maybe more. Enough that I cannot hold full shift after moonrise. Enough that my pack called me fading while my sister stood beside your bed. Celia's voice broke into public sorrow. I did not know it was that much. Liora turned slowly. You knew enough to hide the scar. The High Elder's fingers tightened on the report. There is a final notation, Celia whispered. No, too soft, too late. The Elder read, if Luna Alliance proceeds through Celia Marden, do not release donor record unless royal wound destabilizes. The Alpha's survival appearance must remain whole. The words struck Rhaegar harder than any blade had. His scar flared again. Celia turned to the southern benches. This was family protection, alliance protection, crown protection. Rhaegar's voice cut through her. Enough. The hall stilled. He faced Liora, not coming closer. The donor record will be entered under your name. The wound release right will not proceed until you choose whether any strength returns, remains, or is severed. Celia stared. You would give her power over your survival. Rhaegar looked down at the silver light tearing through his scar. She already had it, he said. We only stole the name. Liora felt the words land. They were not repair, but they cost him power. The vow bowl answered with a sharp crack, not from the royal wolf. From the unfinished Luna mark, silver split across Celia's name, stopping before it broke. The High Elder leaned over the bowl and went pale. Majesty, he said, the vow is trying to complete through the hidden donor line. In the water beneath Celia's fractured mark, another record surfaced. Wound release status. Donor named, not released. The bowl had finally named the debt. That did not mean it had returned what the debt had taken. Liora stared at the words floating beneath the fractured Luna mark, and for a moment Thornmoon Wedding Hall became very far away. The voices blurred. The blue candles wavered. The royal wolf stood silent near the altar, but the old ache in her wrist spoke louder than any howl. Donor named, not released. Named. After 3 months of silence, after Celia's veil, after Rhaegar's acceptance, after the pack had watched Liora hold the fabric of the crown that had been built over her missing strength, Celia moved first. This is exactly why the vow must be handled carefully. If Liora remains unreleased, she holds power over the Alpha's wound. The southern benches stirred. Power. They found that word quickly when a woman finally owned what had been taken from her. Liora looked at her sister. I held his life when no one else could. And now, Celia asked softly, will you hold it until he chooses you? The accusation was perfect. Jealousy, blackmail, hunger. Every ugly word the room was ready to believe about a younger sister standing beside a broken wedding. Rhaegar's voice cut through the murmur. No one will frame the donor's consent as extortion. Liora did not look at him. Not yet. Protection spoken after damage still arrived, wearing the damage's shadow. Celia turned toward him. Majesty, with respect, your scar is rejecting the vow. If the donor refuses release, your survival could destabilize. The packs need certainty. No, Liora said. The packs need the truth before they ask my body to become certainty. The High Elder lowered his head. Wound release law requires the donor's consent unless the alpha's life enters immediate collapse. Celia seized the phrase. Immediate collapse may come if the vow remains suspended. The vow caused the rejection, Liora said. Do not ask the wound to cure the knife. Rhaegar looked at her then. Something in his eyes changed. Not softness, not yet. Something harsher. The look of a man realizing that every path back to order crossed the woman he had helped erase. What do you choose? He asked. The hall held its breath. Liora wanted to laugh at the cruelty of it. Her choice had mattered only after everyone else's choices had failed. I choose not to release anything tonight. Gasps rose. Celia went still. Rhaegar did not. He only closed one hand slowly at his side, as if the pain of that choice had entered his scar and he intended to keep it there without making her watch. Liora continued, Not while my donor record is still half buried, not while my family's note stands, not while your counsel can call my strength trespass when it saves you and threat when it refuses to be spent again. The words shook the chamber harder than shouting would have. The High Elder's face tightened. Then the release rite cannot proceed. Good, Liora said. Celia's voice sharpened. You would leave him unstable? Liora finally turned to Rhaegar. He looked pale beneath the torchlight, scar burning silver at his throat. One of the strongest alphas alive, forced to stand before the pack with another person's strength openly named inside him. She felt the old love move in her like a wounded animal. She did not feed it. I left myself unstable for 3 months, she said. No one stopped a wedding for that. Rhaegar flinched. Visible. Deserved. The Southern Council Lord rose. Majesty, if Lady Liora refuses release, pack law allows emergency custody of contested donor strength. The royal wolf's head lifted. No howl. No attack. Only every candle in the hall bent toward black-blue flame. Rhaegar turned slowly to the council lord. Say that again. The lord paled. I speak only of law. You speak of taking from her twice. Celia stepped in, desperate to make fear sound reasonable. No one wants to take from Liora. We want to preserve the Alpha. If she will not release willingly, the council must consider. Enough. Rhaegar did not shout. He did not need to. The command dropped through the hall like a door of iron. No custody, no forced release, no council hand on her strength. Any wolf who attempts to compel the donor will answer to me before they answer to law. The southern benches erupted again, this time with anger. The alliance was cracking in public, and Rhaegar let it crack. Liora stared at him. That was the first repair that cost him something. Not enough, but something. Celia looked at the fractured vow mark and saw the same thing. Her voice softened with danger. You are choosing her refusal over peace. Rhaegar's face hardened. I am choosing consent over a peace that requires theft. The words found Liora. She did not forgive him for them, but she heard the cost. The scar at his throat dimmed slightly, as if the wound recognized the boundary even before the law did. The High Elder closed the release book. Then the Luna vow remains suspended. The Alpha remains under named survival debt. The donor remains unreleased by choice. By choice. Liora had almost forgotten what those words sounded like near her name. She reached up and unfastened the small silver family clasp at her shoulder, the one that marked her as a Marden daughter in the wedding party. Celia's eyes widened. Liora placed it on the altar beside the vow bowl. I will not stand as the sister who completes your lie. She turned to leave. Rhaegar took one step, only one, then stopped himself. Good. Let him learn distance before he asked for closeness. Liora, he said. She paused, but did not turn. His voice came rougher. Where will you go? Somewhere my strength is not called duty after it is stolen. Then she walked out beneath the wolf-bone lanterns. No veil in her hands. No family clasp at her shoulder. Behind her the vow bowl cracked again. The High Elder's voice followed her through the opening doors. Majesty, the hidden donor line is spreading into the Luna Law. Liora did not look back. At the center of the bowl, beneath Celia's fractured mark, silver words surfaced through the water. Emergency release statute. Council may compel unnamed donor if alpha survival is declared unstable. The law followed Liora out of the hall before any guard dared to. Emergency release statute. Council may compel unnamed donor if alpha survival is declared unstable. Rhaegar stared at the silver words in the vow bowl, while the doors through which Liora had left still stood open. Cold air moved through Thornmoon Wedding Hall. It carried no apology, no forgiveness, no soft return. Only absence. Her absence did what her presence had been denied. It made the room look at what it had planned to do to her. Celia recovered with careful speed. Majesty, emergency law exists for moments exactly like this. If your scar destabilizes, the Council must preserve the Alpha before private pain endangers the Pax. Private pain, Rhaegar repeated. His voice was so quiet that even the southern benches fell silent. Celia lifted her chin. Liora chose to leave. She chose not to release. You cannot let one wounded woman hold 3 pack alliances hostage. The royal wolf remained beside the altar, silent as winter stone. Rhaegar did not look to it. Good. The wolf had already done enough. Now the king had to. Open the emergency release statute, he said. The High Elder hesitated. Majesty, that law is rarely read during ceremony. It surfaced during one. The elder brought a black-edged law book from beneath the altar. Its clasp was old but not ancient. Newer than the life debt law, newer than the old donor consent clauses. Rhaegar noticed that. So did Celia. The elder read, if the Alpha's survival bond shows instability, and if the donor remains unnamed, absent, contested, or unfit to consent, Council may authorize emergency release to preserve Alpha function and pack continuity. A low murmur moved through the hall. Rhaegar's scar pulsed once, not as violently as before, as if the wound listened. Who determines unfit? Rhaegar asked. The Council Lord Carowyn rose. Council Physicians, High Elder Review, and Luna Witness Recommendation. Celia's veil shifted as she turned slightly away. Rhaegar saw it. Luna Witness Recommendation, he said. Carowyn bowed. In cases where the Luna vow is pending, yes. Celia stepped in. A future Luna must be able to protect the Alpha's survival. Rhaegar turned to her. By taking from the donor? By preventing collapse. Say it plainly. Celia's eyes flashed. By compelling release if the donor refuses to act for the pack. The words did not shock the hall. That was what chilled him. Too many faces found the sentence reasonable. Rhaegar looked toward the open doors, imagining Liora walking alone through corridors still decorated for her sister's crown. No veil in her hands, no family clasp at her shoulder. A third of her wolf's strength still caught inside his breath. He had called the wrong woman forward. He had let the right one leave unprotected. Not again. Read the origin of the statute, he said. Carowyn stiffened. Majesty. Read it. The elder turned the page. Emergency Release Statute, adopted after the assassination attempt on Alpha King Rhaegar Flint. Recommended by Southern Council Negotiation Committee. Supported by House Marden family filing. Liora was gone, and still the room found new ways to wound her. Rhaegar felt the knowledge settle into him like iron. This law was written after she saved me. No one answered. Celia's voice softened. It was written because your survival mattered. And hers did not? That is not what I said. It is what the law says. The words struck the chamber. Rhaegar faced the elder. Until full hearing, no council may declare Liora Marden unfit, unnamed, absent, or contested for the purpose of compelling release. No healer, guard, elder, Luna witness, or alliance lord may touch her strength without her spoken consent in public right. Celia went pale. You are stripping the council of emergency power during a survival crisis. I am stripping the council of permission to solve its crisis with her body. A tremor moved through the lower benches. Not worship, recognition. Some women had waited years to hear a king say a woman's body was not public infrastructure. Carowin's voice sharpened. If the Southern Alliance withdraws, Black Ridge may mobilize by moonrise. Rhaegar looked at him. Then Black Ridge will know exactly what kind of peace it demanded. Celia's control cracked at the edge. You would risk war for her refusal? No, Rhaegar said. I am refusing to call theft peace, because war frightens me. The scar at his throat dimmed another shade. The High Elder saw it and went still. Celia saw it too. So this satisfies the wound, she whispered. No, the Elder said. It stabilizes the debt. It does not release it. Rhaegar accepted that. He deserved to carry the debt named. Send Liora the statute, the origin record, and my order, he said. No summons, no request to return, only the record. A young guard bowed and left through the open doors. Celia watched him go, then turned to the hall with tears bright in her eyes. My sister is being given power to break the alliance from outside the room. Rhaegar's answer came like a blade drawn slowly. She was given no power when the alliance was built over her. Balance may feel like punishment to those who profited from imbalance. Celia did not reply. The elder closed the law book halfway, then paused. What? Rhaegar asked. There is a petition attached. Carowin stepped forward. Petitions are preparatory. They do not imply intended use. Rhaegar's eyes cut to him. Read it. The elder unfolded a sealed sheet hidden behind the statute origin. His voice went flat. Emergency release petition prepared before Luna ceremony. Donor, unnamed younger Marden daughter. Grounds, donor instability, family concealment, alliance necessity. Requested authority. Future Luna witness Celia Marden. The vow bowl trembled again. Celia reached for the veil at her throat as if it had tightened. The royal wolf did not move. It did not need to. Emergency release petition. Celia Marden requested authority to compel the unnamed donor before the wedding vow. The petition did not bring Liora back. The truth did. She received the copied records in the outer moon corridor, where the wedding music had died behind stone doors and the cold air smelled of rain, wolf fur, and burned candlewick. The young guard did not ask her to return. He only placed the documents in her hands and stepped away as if the paper itself might bite him. Emergency release petition. Donor, unnamed younger Marden daughter. Requested authority. Future Luna witness Celia Marden. Liora read it once. Then again, no part of her shook. That frightened her more than trembling would have. Inside Thornmoon Wedding Hall, her body had been called trespass. Her strength had been called unstable. Her refusal had been called danger. And before the wedding vow, before Celia placed her hand near the bowl, before Rhaegar said, I accept, someone had prepared a lawful way to take from her again. She returned without the Marden clasp, without the veil, without the hope that had once made Celia smile. When the doors opened, Every head turned. Celia looked first afraid, then relieved, as if Leora's return could be shaped into surrender if spoken of correctly. "My sister has come back," Celia said softly. "Good. Let the rite proceed before more harm is done." Leora stopped at the threshold. "No." The word crossed the hall before she did. Rhaegar stood beside the vow bowl, pale from the wound light still burning under his throat. He did not step toward her. Good. He was learning. Celia's voice tightened. "You cannot keep walking in and out of Packlaw like a wounded guest." "I am not walking into Packlaw," Leora said. "I am asking why Packlaw was prepared to walk into me." The petition lay in her hand. The southern benches went silent. Celia lifted her chin. A future Luna must prepare for every danger to the Alpha. The petition was precaution, not intent. Leora looked at the silver veil still draped over her sister's hair. Precaution named me unstable before I knew I was being judged. You left the donor line unnamed. No, Leora said. I was left unnamed. There is a difference only people with names pretend not to hear. Rhaegar's scar pulsed. He kept his hand at his side. State your terms, he said. The hall shifted at that. Not command. Not request. Recognition that the rite could not borrow her body and ignore her will. Leora looked at the High Elder. Open the healing rite publicly. Not in a side chamber. Not under family witness. Not under future Luna authority. The elder bowed his head. What else? No release decision will be asked of me until the donor record, family submission, emergency petition, and wound law are read into pack hearing. Celia stepped forward. You want humiliation. Leora met her eyes. No. I want the truth to stand where the lie wore pearls. A murmur moved through the hall. Rhaegar's face changed, not softened, but struck. Leora continued. No one names me unstable for refusing release. No one calls my scar trespass. No family may speak for my consent. No Luna witness may touch the rite while her own claim is under review. Celia went white. Then you are removing me before judgment. You tried to enter judgment before truth. The High Elder turned to Rhaegar. Majesty, the Southern Council Lord stood. If Celia is barred from Luna witness duty, Black Ridge will call it an insult. Rhaegar looked at him. Black Ridge may call it what it likes. The donor will not be examined by the woman who requested authority to compel her. Celia's eyes filled with tears bright enough for the room. You are letting her shame me. No, Leora said. I am refusing to let you use shame as a locked door. For once, no one laughed. Rhaegar faced the pack. The healing rite opens publicly. Liora Marden's terms are entered before the pack. Her donor consent is her own. The Luna vow remains suspended. The words cost him. Leora heard it in the southern benches, in the council's fury, in Celia's wounded silence. She did not thank him. She stepped forward only after the elder repeated every term aloud. Only then. The vow bowl was emptied. The High Elder poured moonwater into a shallow black healing basin and placed Rhaegar's bloodless scar record on one side, Leora's wrist scar registry on the other, and Celia's petition beneath the witness stone. The royal wolf lay down beside the altar. Silent, watching, the elder said, Liora Marden, wound witness and named donor, do you enter the public healing rite by choice? Leora felt every eye on her wrist. Yes, she said. By choice, not by family, not by council, not by him. Rhaegar's jaw tightened at the last words. He accepted them. The basin answered with silver light. Not a crown, not a Luna mark. A narrow thread of pale strength appeared between Rhaegar's throat and Leora's wrist, stretched thin from 3 months of concealment. The hall gasped as it flickered not toward Celia's hand, not toward the vow bowl, but toward the silver Luna veil. Celia stepped back. Too fast. Liora saw it. So did Rhaegar. The High Elder frowned and lifted the veil's lower edge. Inside the hem, hidden beneath moon pearls, was a strip of elderleaf cloth. Old, stained silver white. Leora's breath stopped. She knew that cloth. It had been wrapped around her wrist the week after the transfer, when Celia said no one must see the scar. The healing basin brightened. The elder's voice dropped. Concealed donor wrap found inside Luna Veil. The donor wrap did not scream guilt. It lay inside Celia Marden's Luna Veil, like something small and intimate that had survived being hidden better than the woman it belonged to. Old elderleaf cloth, silver white staining, a crescent fold where it had once covered Leora's wrist. Thornmoon Wedding Hall did not breathe. Celia found her voice first because she had always been skilled at surviving the first silence. Healing claws are moved through family rooms all the time. I wore my sister's veil. Work for sentiment. Do not turn a scrap of cloth into judgment. Liora looked at the strip in the High Elder's hand. That cloth was wrapped around my scar when you told me no one could see what I had done. Celia's eyes brightened with tears. I was protecting you. You were decorating yourself with what you hid from me. Rhaegar stood beside the healing basin, his throat scar lit by the pale thread still stretching to Leora's wrist. He did not reach for her. He did not step between the sisters. Good. This truth was not his to hold first. The High Elder lowered the donor wrap into the basin beside the scar registry. The moonwater did not choose a Luna. It did not crown Liora, punish Celia, or decide love. It read, Healing Residue, Wolf, Strength, Transfer, Elderleaf Concealment, and the hand that had requested the wrap. The water turned silver around one line. Requested by Celia Marden. A sound went through the hall, low and wounded. Celia's face tightened, but she did not collapse. I requested a wrap. That proves care, not theft. Father ordered the filing. Council required alliance terms. I stood where every law and family duty placed me. Liora turned toward her. You stood where my blood made room. The words struck harder than shouting. The Southern Council Lord stepped forward. Majesty, the alliance can still be preserved. Name Liora donor, preserve Celia as Luna, and complete the release privately. Both daughters serve peace. Liora laughed once. Even the royal wolf lifted its head. Both daughters serve peace, she repeated. One by bleeding, one by wearing pearls over the bandage. Rhaegar's scar flared. This time he did not hide the pain. He faced the hall, the council, the southern lords, the Marden steward, and Celia in her fractured veil. No. One word. No politics inside it. No delay. The Luna vow is void. Celia's breath broke. Rhaegar. He did not look at her softly. You requested authority to compel an unnamed donor before the wedding. You wore the donor wrap inside your veil. You accepted a witness record that named you after dawn and left the woman who saved my life unnamed. Whether your father wrote the bargain or the council polished it, you chose to stand inside it. Celia's tears fell then, beautiful and useless. I chose the alliance you needed. Rhaegar looked at Liora, then back at the hall. I needed the truth more. I chose Council Inc. while Leora's life beat in my chest. That fault is mine before it is yours. No one spoke. Liora felt the sentence enter the room. Not apology, public accountability. Different, costlier. The High Elder opened the healing ledger. The record must be corrected before any future Luna vow. Rhaegar nodded. Enter it. The Elder wrote with black ritual ink while the entire pack watched. Life strength donor Liora Marden, wound witness Liora Marden, Bedside witness entry by Celia Marden, invalid for donor claim. House Marden submission under fraud review. Emergency release petition void. The moonwater steadied. The silver thread between Rhaegar's throat and Leora's wrist loosened, but did not vanish. The High Elder looked at Liora. Your strength can be released, returned, or left as named debt. Return may not restore all that was lost. Rhaegar closed his eyes once, because now he heard the part the pack had ignored. There was no clean undoing. Liora looked at her wrist. Her wolf had lived dim for 3 months while her sister stood in bridal silver, and the man she loved chose a safer name. She said, I will not release it tonight. Rhaegar opened his eyes. She held his gaze. You will carry the name debt until the law is repaired for every donor after me. Not because I want power over you, because I want this room to remember that taking has a duration. He bowed his head. Then I carry it. Celia whispered. You would let her bind you? Liora answered, No. I would let him learn the difference between debt and devotion. The High Elder looked to Rhaegar. Law? Rhaegar faced the pack. From this night, no Luna vow may seal while survival debt remains unnamed, unreleased, or hidden under family authority. No donor may be compelled by counsel, bride, family, healer, or alpha. Life strength donor must be named before pack law before any bond can claim the alpha's protection. Any witness record that separates donor body from donor name is incomplete. The lower wolves answered first, not with cheers, but with the low chest sound of agreement. The royal wolf finally moved. It walked to Liora, lowered its head, and pressed its muzzle to the floor before her feet. Not choosing a Luna, acknowledging the life debt. Liora did not touch it. Not yet. She looked at Rhaegar. Do not make this worship. I was not invisible because the pack lacked magic. I was invisible because people benefited from not seeing me. Rhaegar accepted the blow. Then the record will say that too. Celia was escorted from the altar, not dragged, not humiliated for spectacle, but removed from the vow she had tried to inherit. The Southern Alliance broke into furious argument, but Rhaegar did not chase it with lies. When the hall emptied into record chambers and guarded whispers, only the basin, the royal wolf, Rhaegar, and Liora remained near the altar. He stood an arm's length away. I have no right to ask for your heart, he said. No, Liora said. His throat moved. May I ask what repair looks like tomorrow? She studied him, the scar she had closed, the king who had failed her, the man finally standing without the shield of council ink. Tomorrow, you start by protecting the law you wrote tonight when it costs you the alliance. And after? After, she said, you keep doing it until my wolf believes you before my heart has to. Pain crossed his face. Hope did not. Not yet. That made it bearable. Liora lifted the donor wrap from the basin and tied it around the healing ledger, not her wrist. The final record dried in black and silver ink. Life strength donor named Liora Marden. Luna vow void. Donor consent law restored. The Alpha King survived because of the woman the Alliance tried to erase, and she chose when the debt would end.